They have some stuff. Yeah, they have. Do they even study it? No.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Hi. It's me. You guys just call me back when you have a chance. Hi. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye.
All right, everybody. So welcome back to Watts the Obsession live stream and chat. So glad that you guys are here. Come on in, get comfortable. Please enjoy yourself in chat. We just ask that you are respectful to one another, of course, to the victims and to the victims' family members. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, moderators, for all that you do and for being here tonight. And yeah, you guys are the bomb. So tonight we are going to talk about, well, it's going to be a couple things. The main focus I want to be on what Nicole Kessinger said in her interviews with CBI's Kevin Kobak, primarily because she didn't really touch upon this in the first interview with the FBI on August 15th. There's 5 interviews, 2 of them were phone interviews, 3 of them were in person. Only the first one was with the FBI. The rest of the 4, the 2 phone and 2 additional in-person interviews, were with CBI's Kevin Kobak. So I want to focus on what she told him, what she said, what she maintained about, well, a focus is always in my mind on listening to what is said about that 111-minute phone conversation, because Kevin Kobak goes at that conversation from so many different angles, so many different times, in so many different ways to try to get her to talk. And Taquito does not ever talk about anything having to do with that call, as you well know. Neither does Chris Watts. They both deny remembering anything about it, using very similar language, which is curious, but that's going to be kind of a subtopic. The main topic I want to look at is what she says about their interactions and their conversations and their communications on Monday, August 13th, 2018, which, as we know, tragically is the day that Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico Watts' lives were taken from this earth. A very, very horrible day. And as you're going to find out during this live stream, if you don't already know, it seems that the mistress, Nicole Kessinger, simply cannot get her story straight in any regard about the communication with herself and Chris Watts on that day. So, hey, Midge. Hey, Anaphylaxis. Hey, Sky Lane. How are you doing? Welcome. Hey, Teresa Young. Hey, Muck Boys. Welcome. So glad you guys are here. I feel like I'm going to say your name wrong. Artemis. Okay, very good. One of my contacts is a little blurry. I can't even see the screen. Somebody get me glasses. No, I'm just kidding. I like contacts. Hey, Sarcasm for Fun. How are you doing? Mel, it's great to see you. How's it going? Edward Schwank, welcome. How are you doing, my friend? Kathy Williamson, Teacup, Megan Bessel, Bree Anderson, welcome. How are you guys doing? Thunder Chick, welcome. So glad you're here. Happy. And there's me, Kayla Manhunt. If you're still here, welcome. Dragon Claws, Ashley, Victoria. I think did I see my girl Suspicious in here somewhere? Maybe not. Hey, Laura Williams, how's it going? And Stephanie B, how are you? A face in the crowd. Hi, so nice to see you always. Pita Bread. And I'm just going to go back down to current times. Now, if I missed you, please do not be offended. It absolutely, positively was not intentional, I promise. Hi, Diane157. How are you? And just say hi. I'll try to say hi back to you. Jody is cool. How's it going? Mrs. B, how are you? Nice to see you as well. Let's see. Seb Charb. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Tasha L. Such great people. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay, so we are first going to listen to. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And then also another focus of today's live stream after we've gotten our hellos out of the way, in addition to listening to what it was Nicole Kessinger said about about her communication with Chris Watts on that Monday, the day of the murders, we are going to take a listen to the second phone interview. Now, in the last live stream, if you were here, you might remember we listened to the first phone interview from August 17th. That interview was partially redacted. Not unsimilar to that interview, this second phone interview, which is from August 21st, is also partially redacted, but What's the Obsession does have the manuscript transcript form of the remainder of the interview that happens after the audio cuts off. So we are going to be listening to that today. And of all of the little portions of all of the 5 interviews that Nicole Kessinger does with CBI, I truly believe personally, just with what I tend to focus on, that I think we could zero in on that is going to, prove, a mountain of lies. And hopefully, eventually, if you can dig into that, unearth some truth, right? I think that this second half or the second part of the interview we're going to listen to today, the August 21st phone interview with Kevin Kobak, is the most critical. So let's just get right into why that is. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Welcome. And Tammy, how are you? Welcome. And let's see. Hold on, I have to make this bigger so I can see it. Oh, my goodness. Gator Man, welcome. How are you? Yeah, I hope everyone's had a really great week. I'm doing this on a Saturday night instead of a Friday night because last week was the winter break for myself and my son in school. So we went to visit my best friend in Maryland and her family, and we went to Washington D.C. to do some sightseeing there because my son had never been there. So that's why we are doing the live stream this weekend on Saturday night instead of Friday. Oh, next Friday, Zawoki is going to be on the channel, and he's going to be on the live stream with me on this channel. I'm so excited. And he actually is away, I think, for a little holiday over this long weekend. So he and I are going to be planning during the week on Monday, and I have an idea I think he's going to love. I have to just pitch it to him. And, the idea is all about, kind of filling in the gaps for you guys based on the questions that you've asked both of us. And I think it's going to be really great. So please definitely be here next Friday night when Zawoki will be our featured guest. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sending me over there. I only know about him because of all of you guys. Yeah. So thank you. All right. So I'm going to bring something into the stream here. I don't even know where to start. There's so many places we could start, but I think I'm just going to have to pick a spot. So it's going to be here. Okay. Welcome to everybody who's just coming in. Come on in, get comfortable. We are so super happy you're here. Okay, so this is actually, we're going to be listening to audio from that first phone interview I was just referencing just for a couple of minutes. Now, this actually, I pulled it from a previous live stream I did because about, I don't know, almost 2 years ago, I did a live stream with a similar theme. It's called Watts Mistress, Monday Alibi. We caught her in more lies. And I just knew that that particular stream had a lot of the sound bites that I was going to need today. So I hope that the audio is okay. If it's not, just let me know and I have a backup.
Talk to me. I'm super scared. Where's your family? Like those little ones at the very end of the night are me not being able to sleep.
She's referring to the phone calls between herself and Chris Watts on Monday evening. Now, let me just give this a little bit of context. Initially, she told Kevin Kobak that, and also actually, she told the FBI agents in the August 15th interview, the first interview, that she wasn't concerned about anything throughout the entirety of the day on Monday. That, everything was normal. She didn't have any concerns, in fact, until the day after the murders, which is Tuesday. And why did she have concern? Well, this I think is her manufactured excuse because it ties into why she deleted all of her text messages and information about Chris Watts on her phone and tried to destroy her SIM card, which is just crazy, as we all know. But she says she didn't have any concerns or suspicions about Chris being involved in his family's disappearance until Tuesday, August 14th, the day after the murders, when she was reading the newspaper, she learned for the first time, she says, she lies, that Shanann Watts was pregnant and she was taken aback. And it was the lies that caused her to leave the text message. And it was like, bleh, whatever she says there. So now she contradicts herself the very next day, 15th and 16th. She says, I wasn't concerned until Tuesday. This is the 17th interview we're listening to for a short bit right now. And now all of a sudden, all of those short calls that were Monday night, that was me freaking out because, what's changed? Well, I'll tell you what's changed. She now knows that law enforcement already has her phone records. And so now she needs to explain away like this, like 20 plus phone calls that happened Monday night and this really strange pattern until 3 a.m. So that's what we're listening to here.
And trying to get him to talk to me about and just I guess
I'll get back to you on that, T. Andrews.
So those real late ones, and that's why they're all kind of sporadic. Because I'd be up for an hour, and then I'd fall asleep for 15 minutes, and then I would wake up and start stressing again and try to call him back. So that's why there are all these little sporadic ones throughout the end of the night. But those two big ones.
So yesterday we talked about Tuesday was mainly text messages regarding your confrontation about his wife being pregnant.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
It is. And I guess those phone calls were on Tuesday morning, but for me, it was still.
See, now Kevin Kobak there reminds her, she's talking about those calls between herself and Chris Watts on Monday. No, it's freaking out. And then he says, but we said that on Tuesday morning, that's when you found out his wife was pregnant, right? So he is in a subtle way calling her out, but as we all know, not nearly to a satisfactory degree because of the way that things stand right now.
Monday night. So I was talking to you guys last night. That's right. How I refer to it because I hadn't gone to bed yet.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yep. No, that makes sense to me. Okay.
Because it's all about her. See, here's a perfect example. But she's not done explaining how, the turn of day to night and night to day is all about her. Keep listening.
Okay. So
I guess those technically were on Tuesday, but according to my daily sleep schedule, that was still my Monday night.
Right. So the last.
Everyone rolling their eyes right now. According to my daily sleep schedule, because Nicole Center is certainly the center of her universe, and she thinks she is the center of everyone else's universe as well. Doesn't make her guilty of a crime, but some other things that we learn throughout the course of these interviews indicate that she is.
Phone call with him on Monday. Well, it basically starts into Tuesday. It takes you all the way to Tuesday. It actually ends basically at midnight on Monday, August 3rd.
Just want to say hi, Debbie. Hi, Joan. How are you guys doing? I just want to say hello. I'm glad you guys are here. And Oh gosh. Hi, Summer Skies. How are you doing? I'm glad you're here too. Welcome. Hi, Colace. Hi, T. Andrews. Hi, Mary. How's it going? And
That's from another live
I think
stream.
there was
Sorry.
a couple other.
Let's see.
That morning. So
No, she got home on Sunday.
Oh, wait,
She got
hold
Sunday.
on. I gotta go back.
She
a
got
couple
home on
more.
Sunday.
Okay. There we go.
It starts
Okay.
into Tuesday. It takes you all the way to Tuesday. It actually ends like basically at midnight on Monday, August 31st. So his wife gets home sometime at about 2 o'clock on that morning. So
No, she got home on Sunday.
Pardon me, Sunday. She got home on Sunday. So
Wrong.
did you ever talk to him late on Sunday night?
So the question is, did you ever talk to him late on Sunday night? That's the evening of the 111-minute phone call. That phone call was from 9:28 p.m. to 11:19 p.m. Now, remember, Kessinger says that she likes to go to bed before 10 p.m. because she needs to wake up around 4:30 the next morning, she says, for work. She was complaining on a couple of occasions that, Watts would like to stay up until 11 or 12. So we know that she considers this late on a work night, okay? So the question Kobak just asked was, were you on the phone late on Sunday evening? Okay, listen to the response.
No, we were on the phone, but I mean, I had to let him go and get up and go to work.
That was the 9 to 11 call it was like a 2-hour phone call we talked about yesterday on Sunday night from 9 p.m. to 11.
And that would have been the last time that I talked to him until the work day on Monday.
Okay, now this part's really important, but I just want to go back a couple seconds because I like how we can hear in this particular audio when Kevin Kobak is asking her this question. Listen to how, and you can hear this several times during this audio. This is the August 17th audio. You can hear his frustration in terms of, his tone of voice, and also second, him pounding on the table or something. So he's asking about this 100-minute phone call. Listen to how you can hear him just kind of pounding on the table here.
9 p.m. to 11.
Oops.
Finding out what they talked about during the 100
blah 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 blah
conversation. He just gets a lot of shade, vitriol, and lies. So just listen to this. So he's bringing the topic up. Listen to how she responds.
And his pounding.
That morning. So
no, she got home on Sunday.
Oh, wait, hold
Sunday.
on. Go back.
She got home on Sunday. Him on Monday. Well, it basically starts into Tuesday. It takes you all the way to Tuesday. It actually ends like basically at midnight on Monday, August 31st. So his wife gets home sometime at about 2 o'clock on that morning. So
no, she got home on Sunday.
Pardon me, Sunday. She got home on Sunday. So did you ever talk to him late on Sunday night?
So the question is, did you ever talk to him late on Sunday night? That's the evening of the 111-minute phone call. That phone call was from 9:28 p.m. to 11:19 p.m. Now, remember, Kessinger says that she likes to go to bed before 10 p.m.
Sorry, I'm repeating that a little bit. I didn't mean to, but we'll catch back up in a second here.
Because she needs to wake up around 4:30 the next morning, she says, for work. She was complaining on a couple of occasions that, Watts would like to stay up until 11 or 12. So we know that she considers this late on a work night, okay? So the question Kobak just asked was, were you on the phone late on Sunday evening? Okay, listen to the response.
No, we were on the phone, but I mean, I had to let him go and get up and go to work.
That was the 9 to 11 call it was like a 2-hour phone call we talked about yesterday on Sunday night from 9 p.m. to 11.
And that would have been the last time that I talked to to him until the work day on Monday.
And that's when he texted you at like 3:45.
No, we talked during work. Remember I told you he like randomly texted me throughout the day at work, but it was just like bullshit conversation.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like.
Okay, so that relative to what we're going to focus on today, that is really one of the most important things that she says in this interview. So let me see if I can just go back a couple seconds and just capture that soundbite. Okay, I'm at 2:42. So let's bring it back to right here. Okay.
9 p.m. to 11.
And that would have been the last time that I talked to him until the work day.
Okay, so listen, that would be the last time I talked to him until the work day.
On Monday.
And
On
that's
Monday.
when he texted you at like 3:45.
No, we talked during work. Remember I told you he like randomly texted me throughout the day at work, but it was just like bullshit conversation.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like anything.
Okay. So Kevin Kobak asked, okay, right, yeah, and that's when he texted you at 3:45. Now, the reason that he asked that question, I'm sure, is because in her previous interview the day before on August 16th, she sort of led investigators to believe that that was the first interaction that Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger had on that Monday, that very important day, the day of the murders, August 13th. But then she's like, oh no, well, you remember I said we text back and forth a little bit, but it was just bullshit stuff, okay? So far, what she has said is that during the day on Monday, we've texted back and forth just a little bit. It was bullshit stuff. Nothing really of substance until like 3:45 or so. No phone calls. Okay, we got that? All right. So here's where we're starting to talk about the Monday alibi of lies. So she says, no, remember, we talked on Monday. He texted me throughout the day, but it was just a bunch of bullshit. I'm repeating myself.
He doesn't have any sheets on the bed, and he said his children's sheets were smelly.
They smell.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's get back to that because I feel like you and me are kind of getting off track.
Yep.
So go to those that.
So how convenient. So he's asking about the 111-minute phone conversation. And then, in the context of doing so, brings up the sheets. Yeah, let's go back to that. I think you and me are getting a little off track, Kevin. We're getting way off track because there ain't no way I'm going to tell you anything that was discussed in that 111-minute phone conversation. That's what I'm hearing. She is they just, I mean, we all know this. It's really stating the obvious at this point, but it's the frustration of listening to these interviews. It is so frustrating the way that law enforcement just let her drag them around by the BALLS.
That first long phone call on Monday night was, I think, when he told me that. I don't think he told me that in the FaceTime text. I mean, in the FaceTime conversation, I think he told me that in the first conversation where he was like, their sheets smell. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why? Like, you keep such a clean house. Like, why would your kids' sheets stink? And, like, it just didn't really click.
Did you confront him? Why they?
What's up?
Did you confront him why the sheets smelled, or did you inquire why?
No, I didn't even ask.
Do you know his? I mean, his children were quite young, and I think one of them was still in diapers. Would have that been a potential reason? That one of them had an accident, or did it seem?
No, I just want to say that's a really great point too. Ashley Victoria, a lot of people have brought up. I didn't actually catch this, but a few of you have brought this to my attention. Ashley Victoria says, don't they find it weird that they're both doing laundry at the exact same time? And she even says they weren't really talking and they continue to call back and forth about 3 different times. It was actually upwards at this point of a dozen different times. And this went on until 3 a.m. over a total of 3.5 hours of phone call time. That is something that we really don't talk about, or we really don't look at in the terms that I just stated, because, I don't think law enforcement wants us to do the math in that way. But when you do the math, that's how things add up. Oops. One moment. So, let's see. Hi, Jay Michelle. Or read or bear with me for just a second, please.
Thanks for remembering that.
Let me see. There's no question. Okay, so we're gonna get out of that now because I want to try to stay on topic here. It's a hard thing for me to do, but I'm trying for you guys. Thank you for your patience. All right, so I'm going to bring something else here into the stream. I actually just uploaded this for you so I could get really as clear audio as possible. Let's see. Where is it? Oh. Maybe I didn't pull it all the way through yet. Just one second. Which one's that? Okay, the video is still processing. I hope it's still not processing. Okay, good. It's not. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. No. Okay, just one second. I still got to get it. Sorry. So welcome everybody who is just coming in. Everyone get comfortable. I think we have about 200 people in here. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are all here. And, feel free to express your opinion in chat. It's okay if you don't agree, with the general consensus. It really, truly is. We just ask that you guys are respectful to each other, please. Life is hard enough. We don't need to, be pummeling each other all the time. And please be respectful to the victims' memories and to the victims' families. I appreciate that very much. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we're going to be listening to sound bites from the August 16th interview. So the tragedy happened on the 13th. The first interview was with the FBI on the 15th. Now this is August 16th. So obviously that is the second interview, and the first one was CBI. Okay. Mm-hmm. There it is. And guys, this gentleman on this person on the right-hand side of your screen, that is her dad, Dwayne Kessinger. I just read a couple comments earlier, and it seemed like there was a couple people that thought that was actually the interviewer, Kevin Kobak, saying it was inappropriate that he was touching her leg and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I never noticed that. But I think that they were talking about like Daddy Dwayne Kessinger here. So just so you know, he's the only one in the frame, because I think it's interesting to watch his body language and where he's looking and the kind of, their nonverbal communications between each other, Kessinger and her dad.
In the background of the phone call.
Yeah. So I didn't know what room he was in, but I was.
So now they're talking about their phone call on Monday evening.
Just like, I just thought it was weird because he's always like, before I go to bed and I lay down, he's always like kind of trying to do the same thing. We just talk. It's like a really chill thing till one of us is about to pass out. And then that's like the end of it. But it was strange because I was like, the TV's on. I remember I was thinking, I was like, maybe he's waiting up for her. And then I was like, maybe not. I didn't know. It wasn't something that like alerted me. It was just different from his standard operating procedure. Because whether his wife is home or she's gone, he's always got kind of like the standard op when he calls me. So that's why it was kind of like unique.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really fluctuate when she's there and when she's not there. He's pretty like free reign with what he does.
Mm-hmm. So anything important that you recall during that conversation about the children, about his wife, about what he was doing the next day, what he had planned, anything like that? Did he tell you any of that information?
I remember he told me he had to go to the field and not to the office on Monday morning.
Okay. Did he specifically say where he needed to go on Monday morning?
No, I don't ask him for those sites. There's like, Anadarko's got like thousands of sites. If he were to tell me, I wouldn't even
They're just like random numbers and stuff, right?
Well,
so I'm sorry. Whoops. So listen very carefully to this, okay? So Kobak is now asking Kessinger about, anything important that happened in that Sunday evening phone call. He's still trying to drill down to the 111-minute phone call and get some godforsaken information from her. Not happening. But she does say that, he said that he was going straight into the field the next morning. He was not going to be in the office. He's like, sorry, I'm not going to see you in the office tomorrow morning. I'm going straight out to the field. Now, this, guys, is very, very important because when this live stream is all said and done and we listen to the redacted portion of the second phone interview on August 21st and hear what she has to say about the same topic, it really is stunning. It really is. So just listen very carefully what she says about him going into the field and not the office on Monday morning.
Because whether his wife is home or I didn't know. It wasn't something that like from his standard operating procedure. Because whether his wife is home or she's gone, he's always got kind of like the standard op when he calls me.
Now, this is really interesting too, guys, because she says whenever his wife is home or she's gone. He has kind of this standard operating procedure when he calls me. Well, here's the interesting thing, okay? According to Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts, for the duration of their dating courtship, it was only about 6 weeks. Almost that entire time, Shanann was in North Carolina. In fact, the first time we have evidence, through text message of, him going over to her house, that's when he brought the 2 boxes of condoms. One was used. I don't know if you guys remember all that. If you don't even bother that I said that, because that's a whole rabbit hole. Was the day when Shanann went out of town to North Carolina. That is the day. Chris and Shanann went to San Diego together. They returned home on June 26th. And it is on June 27th that we know she spent the night at his house, or he spent the night at her house, box of condoms, all of that. And then Shanann is gone for that entire 6-week duration until August 8th, when she comes home for 2 nights. And then she goes to Arizona. So when Kessinger is saying things like, whether his wife is home or not, it's standard operating procedure, really that is a load of bullshit. Something's a load of bullshit, because according to her own testimony and Chris Watts' testimony, for the duration of the time that they were dating, Shanann Watts was only home for a total of 2 nights. So really, what's that about?
From his
How to
standard
character,
operating procedure, because whether his wife is home or she's gone, he's always got kind of like the standard op when he calls me. So that's why it was kind of like unique.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really fluctuate when she's there and when she's not there. He's pretty like free reign with what he does.
So anything important that you recall during that conversation about the children, about his wife, about what he was doing the next day, what he had planned, anything like that? Did he tell you any of that information?
I remember he told me he had to go to the field and not to the office on Monday morning.
Okay.
Did he
So listen very carefully. He had to go to the field, not the office, on Monday morning.
specifically say where he needed to go on Monday morning?
No, I don't ask him for those sites. There's like Anadarko's got like thousands of sites. If he were to tell me, I wouldn't even
They're
tell.
just like random numbers and stuff, right?
Well, he told me, he said, I got to go to a site. I got to go check out like a valve or something where they think that they had a release. Something like that.
Did he mention the town or anywhere?
No, he just told me that that's what he had to go do. He's like, he was like, I won't see you in the office in the morning. Because I see him, but I don't actually like talk to him. Like I will go in the cafeteria, I will put my lunch in the fridge, and him and his whole team are sitting in there, and I don't talk to any of them. I just walk out. But anyways, yeah, he's like, so I won't see you, I'm going to the field, which is not an uncommon thing for the ops guys to like just go straight to the field. Like it happens. Like typically they go to the office, I would say like 3 or 4 days a week, but there are days where him and his other team members are not there. Or like I'll get in there and some days the cafeteria is packed and they're all there.
Okay.
And other days I get in there and there's only like 3 or 4 of them.
So it didn't cause you any concern that he said,
No.
I'm going to the field on Monday, I won't see you?
Okay. Kevin Kobak just says it didn't cause you any concern that he's like, I'm going to the field on Monday, I won't see you in the office.
Wasn't,
No.
that's happened before.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It wasn't something, and it's not just him. It's like that whole team. Like you can just
She's like, yeah, it's happened before. That's no big deal. It's not even just him. It's that whole team.
tell when they've got like a lot going on because I'll walk in and there'll be like 2 of them as opposed to like 6 or 7.
Do you know what he did Sunday during the day?
Okay, so this is really important that we establish here that her characterization of Chris Watts going straight out to the field, not into the office, is like, par for the course, not the usual thing. They usually go into the office, but this is like, ain't nothing to look at
It's
here.
him. It's like that whole team. Like you can just tell when they've got like a lot going on because I'll walk in and there'll be like 2 of them as opposed to like 6 or 7.
So we're going to listen to a little more here, but please mark that point in your mind and don't let it go.
You know what he did Sunday during the day?
I don't even know what I did on Sunday during the day. I am so tired. Let me just think about this. Daniel came over Friday. I hung out with him Saturday. And then Sunday.
Yes, Anna, we're getting there.
When did you?
So Anna is it Anna or Anna? Well, I don't know if you could even answer that question, but welcome. Being Psychic says, of course she fails to mention that she asked Chris Watts to send a picture from Survey 319 as proof that he was there. Yep, that's where we're heading. And the details surrounding that are really what is like the linchpin in this whole point here. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Jim, come in.
Monday.
Huh.
Jim got here Monday. What did I do on Sunday? I am like drawing a blank. I'm really tired. I don't know. Can I get back to you on that?
Did you guys have any conversations on Saturday night during your meal, what he might be doing on Sunday?
I'm sure we did. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank because I haven't slept.
If I say that he may have done something with his children, would that refresh
Yes.
your memory?
He went to a birthday party.
Okay. Did you know whose house he was going?
Kind Colorado, Shanann was only there for a total of 2 nights during the entirety of the relationship between Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts, according to them and according to anything that we can find about when they dated at this point.
To?
Nope. But I know that they had a water balloon fight.
Okay. He had one, or his children?
His children did.
Okay.
He said he used to get really into it. He said he got like really interactive with his kids. He's like, some of the adults don't really spend a lot of time playing with the kids, but
We
I
went
always
to the
do.
museum on what day? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
That's right. So that's what I was like, was I hanging out with you? God.
Very memorable event, huh?
We,
was,
me and him and my stepmother and my
wife.
sister
Yeah.
went to the museum, and
What
that's
museum?
right, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. And they went to brunch prior to that, and I skipped brunch, and I went to the gym.
You shouldn't have. It was good.
I had to do core day. That was the last time I worked out, actually.
That's
So
what we
did-
did Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, so core day, and then we went to the museum, and then
When did he tell you about the water balloon fight on Sunday evening during your conversation on the phone?
I think so.
Okay. So
think
you don't know whose house he went to on Sunday,
No.
but you knew it was for a child's birthday?
Yeah, and he had told me about that in advance, really. So I don't know if it was Saturday that he had told me that he was going to go that birthday, or like Friday. I just remember he was like, "I got to go to this birthday party
Okay.
with my kids."
Any other conversation that makes sense?
Now, I want you to listen. I think her dad really soon says, what about that Monday at 9 or morning he told you about, or something like that? I want you to really notice her reaction to him bringing that up, and just tell me what you think about that. I think you guys are all pretty good at picking up on these clear signs of deception, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm really tired, so I know there are certain things that I need to tell you guys that we'll get to as these days progress.
Yep.
But in all honesty, if it doesn't stand out to me now,
Today?
it probably
That's fine.
wasn't relevant.
What about that 9 o'clock
Here.
thing you were telling me on Monday?
Oh, that he told me?
He goes, what about that 9 o'clock thing you were telling me on Monday? She goes, oh, that he told me? Now watch her.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. We're still on Sunday.
So we're on
night.
Sunday.
We're
gonna get to-
This is gonna be a long.
We're going to get there to Monday. We're getting there.
night.
So Sunday night, or Sunday during.
Do you guys see how she was just saved? Do you guys, can you like see that? He's like, what about that 9 a.m. call that you were telling me about? And she's like fidgeting with that little card in front of her, and she's like pausing, and she's like, she's stalling, she's waiting. And then Kevin Kobak gives her the out, of course. Well, we're not there yet. We're still on Sunday. And then look at that relief on her face. We're still on Sunday. And she looks at me, she's like, I told you this is gonna be a long day, like almost giddy. It's just incredible. That lets us know that there is something to hide regarding that Monday at 9 o'clock, whatever happened that Chris Watts had told her about.
We're
gonna get to-
This is gonna be a long.
We're going to get there to Monday. We're getting there.
night.
So Sunday night, or Sunday during the day, you had your own personal stuff going on
Hmm.
with your family. You never see him on Sunday. Is that accurate?
No, I didn't see him. What did I do the rest of the day? I came home. I think I might have just chilled at my house. I don't remember. I think I cleaned my house. I don't know. I didn't see him though.
And
Yeah, Saturday was the last time I saw him.
Yeah, wait, I just want to say this. So, this is off topic, but I just want to point this out. And hi, let's see. Chris Moser, how are you? Chris Moser says her phone pinged in Frederick the morning of the murders. It did. And not only did it do that, I did an analysis with people that are professionals in that industry. Some of you that have been with the channel for a while know that I used to work in site acquisition and I have some experience in that industry and have connections in that industry. It can be determined, and I have two videos about this. I can link them at some point if you haven't seen them yet. It can be shown that her phone ping in Frederick, Colorado, contrary to what some channels have been railing against what I've been saying recently, but it is a fact that she pinged within 300 to 400 yards. That's less than a quarter of a mile from the Watts residence. That is a fact.
Okay. Sunday, you're at home. You talk to him we know you have a conversation in the late evening hours, and then you go to sleep on Sunday night. When's the next time you talk with Chris?
Probably Monday morning.
Do you know what time?
No.
Okay, so listen here now. Okay, remember in the August 17th interview we're listening to, they're talking about how they communicated on Monday, and she's like, we just sent random bullshit texts throughout the day, like nothing memorable, just random bullshit texts, and now listen to what she's going to be saying about their communications on Monday.
I mean, so we used to like randomly text each other like throughout the day, but we both get really busy. So some days like I don't hear a lot from him, and some days I don't text him until like 2:00 in the afternoon because I'm just like busy. And I remember I didn't hear a lot from him that day, which was like, that's not out of the normal for either.
I remember I didn't hear a lot from him that day. I specifically remember I didn't hear a lot from him that day. And, then combining what she said before. And what I did hear was just bullshit texts. All right. That's what we got so far.
One of us during the day. But at one point I do remember he like texted me and he's like, oh, it's been a really busy day. And then like said some other stuff, which I'm sure you will find in my text. What he said, I don't know. It wasn't obviously anything that was like alerting to me. But that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, like I remember really key things, but if it's like a conversation that I'm like, I don't remember exactly what was discussed, it's because it was probably just bullshit. Like,
okay, so once again, she doubles down on, so Reed, this is my basic philosophy. If I remember something, it's important. If I don't remember, it means it was just bullshit. I'm telling you that I don't remember anything. Therefore, all the text communications between us on Monday were bullshit.
Just talking to each other. Yeah.
Small talk stuff.
Yeah.
Small talk stuff.
But I remember he was busy that day and we didn't talk that much. And then
he was busy that day and we didn't talk that much.
I clocked out at 3 is what my time card says. That's what I was showing Mark the other day. And I got home to go meet my buddy,
And yes, it's true. She clocked out at 3 and there is no record of her clocking in. It is bizarre, especially since her boyfriend murdered his family just a couple hours before maybe an hour before she was supposed to clock into work. Weird.
Good friends was coming over my house, and he actually has a key to my house, so he was actually there when I got there. And
who's that?
My friend Jim. And so Jim came over, and I got home. He was there. He had like just walked in the door, and I remember like briefly after he got there, I checked my texts. I mean, briefly after I met up with Jim, I like glanced.
Isn't Betty's vehicle red? I think it is. I don't know. Sorry. I
At my texts. And Chris said something about like my family's not home, or like my wife and kids aren't home, like something to that effect. And I told Mark, because he asked me for a time. And I don't have an exact time, but I remember it was like right after I walked.
That was a text message though.
Yeah, it's in a text. And it's like, it was like briefly after I walked in the door. So based off how long it takes me to get home from work and when I clocked out, it's probably about 3:45 p.m. Texts me and tells me that. And like, he knows when I get off of work too. So he doesn't always bug me if I'm busy. So
not read. Okay.
I don't know what's up with that, but that's when he.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Betty's car is not white. You're right. What I'm thinking of, Muck Boys, I think it's when Armchair Detective, that whole thing about the red car, that's what I'm thinking of. So yeah, I was wrong about that. Betty's car, you're right, is not red. I don't know. I just don't know. Anything I'd be saying is just I'm kind of making up. I think I know, but I definitely don't know.
sends that to me, and
So you're saying that he would have known that you would have had your phone available to you and not been at work when he sent you that text message?
yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
So looking back at it, you think it was purposefully sent at that time?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm just asking your feeling on that.
Yes, and then he said, "Call me when you can," and I was
There was
like,
no other communication between you and him that morning on Monday morning?
well,
at all.
there was, but it was like random, like
But nothing about this event?
no.
About like my wife's missing or
No,
anything?
nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
And you knew he wasn't coming to the office because he had told you that Sunday night.
Yeah, and then he goes, and so like they're only in the office for the morning. Like
Right.
some days it's longer than others, but I would say by a maximum of 7:30 every single morning they're all gone, and they don't come back unless they have like a meeting or something that they have to attend. So like not seeing him for the rest of the day is not like an unnormal thing.
Okay.
Like, but like I'm saying, like we don't really. The only reason we interact was kind of like by an off chance thing. Like I don't work with him.
Mhm.
So he. Yeah, we talk like randomly throughout the day, but it was really sporadic. And he's
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just looking at your comments, but what she's saying here about their interaction on Monday is super important. I'm just going to go back a few seconds, okay? So this is all talking about her interaction with Chris Watts on Monday. Well, and then he's trying to weave Jim in there too, but then of course she's trying to divert his attention from talking about Jim because leave Jim alone, right? So that's where we're at.
the rest of the day is not like an unnormal thing.
Okay.
Like, but like I'm saying, like we don't
Wait, what
really
is she says. I want you to hear that. Sorry.
by a maximum of 7:30 every single morning they're all gone, and they don't come back unless they have like a meeting or something that they have to attend. So like not seeing him for the rest of the day is not like an unnormal.
Okay, so for not seeing him for the rest of the day is not an unnormal thing. She's still characterizing Monday. Chris Watts going straight out to the field, not going into the office, and everything that's happened that day is like a not abnormal situation. And communication was nothing I can remember, nothing important, just bullshit texts.
Normal thing.
Okay.
Like, but like I'm saying, like we don't really. The only reason we interact was kind of like by an off chance thing. Like I don't work with him.
Mhm.
So he. Yeah, we talk like randomly throughout the day, but it was really sporadic, and he seemed pretty busy, so we didn't talk too much. Like I said, didn't put too much thought into it. It happens all the time. Waited till about 3:45, then sent that text to me. And yes, he does know that I will be home at that point. Or getting home.
Did you give Mark Jim's information?
Uh-oh.
No, I would really not like to involve him in this.
Okay.
He does not know about this. He did.
I'm sure you guys have seen this all plenty of times, but just really, really pay attention to her body language.
He was not he doesn't know any of this is occurring.
Okay.
Like I was
So
literally.
he knows certainly through the media that something's occurred.
Yeah, he's
with
out of
Chris.
town. He's probably has no
Okay.
idea. He doesn't know
Okay.
who Chris is. Like he's not. I do not know.
So he's just a friend of yours
Yes,
um,
he does
that
not.
was
need to be
coming to your
dragged into this.
apartment and doesn't know anything about Chris. Does he know anything about Chris?
No,
Okay.
nothing. Absolutely
And we've
not.
known Jim for
Yeah.
years and years.
You're not dating him or anything like that.
No,
It's just-
he's like one of my very good friends. Like my dad knows him. He's a great guy. He works out of state a lot, so when he's in town, we hang out. But when he's in town, he's off of work to save time. So I give him a key to my house, one, because I trust him and he's one of my best friends, and two, because
Because I'm a skanky taquito.
sometimes he will just meet me there because I'll be like, hey, I'm getting off of work. And then if I get stuck in traffic or something, he ends up sitting outside of my apartment waiting for me to get off of work. So I'm like, here's a key. And my dog loves him and stuff. So no, he's not
So he's just
involved
family
with it.
friends.
Yes, I don't even
The only
know
reason
if
I
I'm
ask,
dragged into this.
and I'm not really concerned about your location. I think we already have your cell phone records. At some point, did Mark ask you to supply? Did they ask for you consent to get cell phone records? That'll probably be done by warrant. If we
Isn't that
wanted,
what you just did?
nope. What I'm talking about is your movement
Uh-oh.
by GPS or by cell phone tower to show where you were. Obviously, and I don't want to cause you concern, we want to know where you were that day too. You're dating a man who did some egregious stuff, and we want to show that you were never near him that day, period.
I mean, you guys
So-
can track my
No, yeah, I
stuff.
mean, that was something we will have to get a warrant for anyways. I'm just saying, if we asked for it, would you have any
Yeah,
objections to that?
No, you can have
Right.
it.
So
I'm a pretty boring person. I
Well,
don't
it sounds
go
like
to
you
many
just went to
places.
work that day and then you came home and you were there at 3:45.
Yeah, like
on
give or
Monday.
take like 5
Yeah,
minutes.
whatever.
But yeah, so 3:45. I meet Jim there. Yeah, I would
And
totally
so
do that.
Jim is understand from an investigative point, he could be a person who could say, yeah, I was there at 3:45. He doesn't know Chris. He doesn't know anything. He could say with one phone call, yeah, she came in at 3:45, done.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't have to ask anything more than, hi, Chris, my name's Kevin. Or Jim. And I'm not saying you have to give it to you.
Just leave Jim
But
alone.
if
Jim does
at
not need
some
to be wrapped
point-
up in this.
If at some point I needed Jim's info to, let's say we couldn't find your phone records, would you
You
tell me
can
who
have
Jim
them.
was?
I will give them to you.
Would you tell me who Jim was if I
If
couldn't
you
get him?
had to. I don't really want to
Great.
involve him in this. That's not fair to him.
Okay,
That's
so I just want to point out that them not talking to Jim means so much to her that for the first time, she says, Kevin Kobak's asking about her phone records. She says, you can have them. I will give them to you. All right. So she has erased all of her messages or any trace of Watts on her phone. She's trying to broker SIM card. She has deceived law enforcement, lied in all of these different ways. And for the very first time, this is about 2 hours into the interview. And this is, her second interview or interview with FBI was a little over 2 hours as well. So about 4 hours total into talking with law enforcement. For the first time, she says, I will give you them. You can have them. So it must be that whatever she doesn't want them to talk to Jim about is gosh darn important, don't you think?
not, no, if I do not have to do that.
That's fine.
Yeah, so anyways, Chris was like,
Oh, and by the way, thank you so much, Sarcasm for Fun, for gifting 10 memberships. That's awesome. So we have 10 new members. So everybody, please, somehow you can turn on your receive memberships option. I'm not sure how to do it, guys. I need to figure that out so I can tell you how to do it. But that's so super generous of you. Thank you so much. Sarcasm for Fun. Thank you. We appreciate that. Oh, I'm scheduling a Thursday night, this coming Thursday, a members only live stream. I'm going to schedule it like tomorrow. So it's on the books. It's going to happen a little earlier. It's probably going to be around 8 because I have an early morning on Friday morning, but I have something really fun for you guys. Yay. Yay, members. Oops.
call me.
And this is the 3:45 text.
Yeah, he sent me like a few. I think there was 3 of them, and I don't remember what the other one said, but something about yeah, my family's gone, or I don't remember verbatim, but call me when you can, or call me when you have a chance, something to that effect. And so when he told me call me, I was kind of alerted, where I was like, okay, what's going on, But first when he told me his family was not home, that didn't really seem odd to me that his family wasn't home. It was really vague. I'm like, okay, are they at the grocery store? Elaborate. And so, but he says, call me it's an emergency, but then just says that they're not there. And so I'm really floored by that. Well, not floored, but just kind of he says, call me. So I'm concerned. And then he's really vague. So I'm like, maybe he just wants to talk to me. I don't know. I think it took me a little while to really process the severity of the situation, just because this is not something that you expect to see every day. And the way that he talked to me made me believe that this is not what was going on at all.
Okay, so you make a phone call to him and you guys have a conversation.
I did. I stepped outside.
This is 3:45.
Ish.
You know what? And that's an important point. In the Dodge interview, yes, again, you're right, Anna. She says, yet at the Dodge interview, Chris Watts says he did meet Jim. He acknowledges that he did meet Jim during that interview. Yes, he does. I've listened to it so many times because there's been controversy over the years about what he was saying there. He absolutely acknowledges that he met Jim. No doubt about that. Thank you.
I mean, well, I think I actually interacted with Jim for probably a good 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, he's my guest. He's in my house. So I don't think I called him right away, but I'm trying to balance the fact that I have my friend here, and then Chris is saying that something needs to be addressed. But to me, it didn't sound like an emergency. I mean, it's all the time. People aren't home right now, so it wasn't oh my God, I have to take this call.
It didn't register as being critical.
No. I mean, it was the way he said it. And I was like, okay. So I remember hanging out with Jim for a while, and then I stepped outside and I made a call out on my back patio, and I called him and he didn't answer the phone. And then he texted me back. Oh no, Did he answer the phone? I don't remember. I think he missed my call and then he called me back. Or he just answered. Either way, it was a very short talk to him where he was just like, I have to go. The cops are here. And I don't remember if he said that on the phone or over text.
That's okay.
I'm so tired.
That's fine. You don't
But
need
either
the
way,
different-
like,
it's
the
just
cops-
the context.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will figure it out. The cops are here. And I'm just like, all right. And then I remember we were we were texting, but I was like hanging out with my company. So it wasn't like a nonstop text. It was just kind of like I would check my phone every once in a while and we would communicate with each other. And he was just saying like they weren't there and that her friend Nikki was there and that her friend Nikki had called the cops.
Okay, so we're going to pause there, of course. Wait, hold on. Let me just get that out of the stream. And Sarcasm for Fun, thank you so much for the super sticker. That is just so sweet of you. And thank you for supporting the channel. And do you see all the people are so excited about their gifted memberships? So all of you guys who are new members, old members, members, there's going to be a members only live stream this coming Thursday around 8. This week we're going to do a Watts one. And the next week I have an Idaho one planned for you. So I've got 2 definitely for sure the next 2 weeks. They'll probably both be around Thursday around 8 because I have an early morning Friday thing I have to do with a student of mine. Really needs me. And Chick, thank you so much also for the super sticker. I'm so glad you're here. You can always come in late, honey. Always happy to see you. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you're here, my darling. So we've heard, I'm just going to kind of get down to the current time chat, or I'm going to get like really behind. But you guys are saying such great things. I really want to read them all. And I usually do. If I can't do it during the live stream, I go back, on the replay. And I usually really do read every single comment and every single comment to the video. I know it's crazy, but I do because you guys mean a lot to me. And I want to know what you say. All right. So what we've established that Nicole Kessinger has said about Monday, her interaction with Chris Watts on Monday morning, and also about him going into the field and not into the office is, first of all, that's no big deal. Not only does he do that sometimes, other guys do that too. If they're not there, then you know that they are really busy. They're out in the field. Ain't nothing to look at here. Additionally, her communication with Chris Watts. She says that, send a couple random texts through the day, just mostly bullshit, small talk, chit chat kind of things. And then she doubles down on that, saying specifically that she doesn't remember anything. And if there was something important, she would remember it. So anything that was, discussed during that day on Monday was through text, and it was not substantial whatsoever, had nothing to do, certainly, with anything related to the murders of Chris Watts' family members. Well, this is all very interesting because it sets us up for listening to the redacted portion of the August 21st phone interview. So that's the second to the last in the order of the interviews that Nicole Kessinger did, at least the recorded ones. That's the 4 of 5. So we're close to the last one. She says something much, much different. Now, I did upload the entire interview, the entire August 21st interview earlier today. In totality, the video, I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes long. It's a pretty long interview. So what you get when you're, in that video is you listen to the audio portion, of course, for the part that was recorded. And then I pick up reading the transcript for the part that was redacted. Now, and we're going to listen to a little bit of that. Now, I do want to say, I know that some people are going to be critical of this. When I was reading back and forth the transcript, there was 2 parts. There was Nicole Kessinger and there was Kevin Kobak. So Nicole Kessinger's voice, I talked like, I just read it. And Kevin Kobak's voice, I tried to change my voice a little bit. I wasn't trying to be silly or, like making light of anything or, anything along those lines. I was just trying to break up the sound of my voice so you could hear without thinking too hard when the speaker was changing. I always get a lot of criticism about that. So I just want to give you that disclaimer right now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring that right in. All right. Is that it or is this it? I'm not sure. I think this is it. Is this it? I think so. Okay, so we're not going to listen to this whole interview once again. I wanted to do that today, but it's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's just too darn long. Now, the part that I just kind of passed by, they were talking about the sand dunes trip. Do you guys want to hear that part or not? Just let me know really quick. Put a 1 if you want me to play the part where they talk about the sand dunes. It's going to add on an extra 15 minutes or so, I think, because it's talked about for a while. They go back to it. And a 2 if you just really don't want to hear that. 1 if you want to hear the sand dunes part, it's going to add on extra 15 minutes. 2 if you don't want to hear it. All right. And I'll just kind of, so far I have 1s only. If somebody's like, I really don't need to hear that, please go ahead and put your 2 down. It's okay. All right. All right. 2. Okay. So let's get a couple more votes in. I'm just going to, go with the majority of voters. I know, Check. I feel the same way. 1 and 2. I know. That's how I feel about wanting to play it. Oh boy. All right. Yeah. It is. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I know, but you guys are important, so I want your opinion. Oh, thank you so much. Let's see. I have to make this bigger. Charmy Lily. Did I say that right? I don't think I did, but I'm trying. Gifted a Watts the Obsession membership, and thank you so much. So somebody's going to get that membership, and I really appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the channel and for giving a gift to somebody else. That's so awesome. All right. So what do we have here? Mrs. P says too. All right. So let's see. Okay. So most of you said 1. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just cut the fat off of it and get to this is probably going to add on 5 to 8 minutes. I think he asks about it and then he goes back. So I'm just going to get kind of that second more meaty part. Forgive me. I have to find it for a minute here.
Okay.
So he went inside because he went and got firewood.
Who paid for it?
He did.
Okay. Did you think he used the debit or the gift card again? Area?
No.
So
no, we did stop at I think it's called like the Oasis or something.
Or the gift card again?
Let me see.
Okay, so we went to the dunes and then we went.
Whatever, meet Chris.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It was that
Okay. Here we
weekend.
go.
I just don't remember what day.
All right. Here we go. This is going to add on 6 minutes tops. Okay.
Gas tank, and I paid for gas, and I bought a little bit of groceries for the cooler, and then he took care of like the campsite and the board and the firewood and all of that.
Okay.
Like I didn't actually go into that Oasis place. I don't think. I'm almost positive I didn't go in there. He did. I got in line for the board. I remember that. But their like little board rental shop is like outside of the building.
Okay.
So
Wait. Hey, Angel D. Angel D makes a really good point here. She says, I don't get why she leaves him that face message while they're together. I kind of feel like she wanted Shanann to discover them, in my opinion. I think the same thing, Angel D. So what Angel D is talking about is you see the image of Nicole Kessinger right here that's frozen, and she's like, Chris, I'm having like a really great time with you. I'm glad you're having a great time. Blah, blah, blah. I actually don't remember exactly what she says. Believe it or not, I usually know what she says verbatim, but can't think of it right now. And then she's like, mwah, gives him a kissy face, but she's with him. And she's clearly, in my opinion, when she's recording this, she's trying to look like, super sexy in her mind. And so the question is, if she's with him, why is she recording him that message? It's not, you know what I mean? And I think it is possible. I think it's possible that she posted it to Facebook. I think it's possible that she tried to tag him. And I think it's possible that that's why soon thereafter he deleted his Facebook. I don't know that to be true. I'm not sure that I think that is exactly why he deleted his Facebook. But the way the dates line up and whatnot, that is certainly a possibility. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Hey, Angel D, how are you doing? Thanks for that.
he went inside because he went and got firewood. And then we went to the dunes.
I'm just looking at your dates, so you're right. The Bandamere Speedway, the Mile High Nationals was July 21st.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was going to say.
yep.
Get online and see if that matches.
It does.
Okay, so
we're
then
good.
all those other dates should be good. The only one that I'm not 100% sure about is the movie. It was that weekend, that movie on the 6th and the 7th. It was that weekend. I just don't remember what day
Okay.
of the weekend. I don't think it was a Sunday though. I really think it was a Friday or Saturday. Like I'm almost positive I didn't have to work in the morning.
All right. So what's after the Great Sand Dunes?
Okay, so we went to the dunes, and then we went and returned the board, and then we went back to the campsite, and we lit a fire, and we ate, and we just hung out by the fire for a few hours and just visited, and then it started raining really hard. So we put everything in the tent and put out the fire, and we went in the tent, and I remember he was like wide awake, and I was so tired, like, oh my God, I wanted to sleep so bad, and he just like would not sleep, and it was kind of bugging me. Like I would like almost like wake up and like half subconsciously like have a conversation with him for a sec, and then like doze back off. And I just remember being so tired, and he was up probably for a while.
Okay. And
then
so you guys come back to the Denver metro area on Sunday?
Kind of. Yeah, but we went, one of my friends wanted us to go to the Renaissance Festival, and she didn't know who I was with, but she was just like, the Renaissance Festival in Colorado Springs, and she was like, oh, you should stop by, and I made up an excuse to not go over there. I just told her, I was like, yeah, I don't really know, and I like kind of got out of it because I didn't want her to meet him.
I got it. What friend was that?
Charlotte.
Okay. So did Charlotte ever meet Chris?
No, none of my friends ever met him.
Okay.
And then on the way back up, we stopped in Colorado Springs to eat, and we stopped at a restaurant called BJ's.
On Nevada and I-25?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I just remember.
Right by the University of Colorado, there's a bunch of buildings, and it's a big strip center. There's like a Costco.
Oh, wait, I think I remember the Costco. Because don't you kind of have to like from the highway, you can like see, on the highway, but that main road, you can like see the Costco, and then you have to kind of like turn in and around into that shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. BJ's, it's more like a brew house, I guess, kind of.
Yes, and it's like really nice. That place, it's just like it's like a nice restaurant. I mean, not like nice, but it's just like it's a decent place.
So that would have been.
It's a big place. That's what I was looking for. It's a big restaurant.
Sunday, July 29th.
What day did you?
Sarcasm for fun. That's just how she likes to keep things irrelevant.
Did that have been Sunday, July 29th?
Yeah, it was Sunday, July 29th. And if you walk in the restaurant, so picture walking in, and the front doors are behind you. We were sat to the right on the like first level. Like there's like a few different levels. So we were sat on the right side. And then in the right side, we were on the like left portion of the section on the right side. Like there's these little like single seater booths. They're really small.
Okay.
So almost like in the center of the restaurant, almost, but just like.
Anna, you're so funny. You're like my brain. Like every comment you make is like the things that I'm thinking about that are really important. Anna says, and yet again, NK texted Charlotte only on August 12th about Chris Watts as her boo. And guys, I just can't emphasize how important I think this point is. I think it was a couple weeks ago I put out a video about this and we did a live stream. If you guys haven't noticed with the channel, that's the pattern. Usually I'll do some videos and then, the live streams will be kind of a follow up to those videos so we can get a little deeper into the topic. That's kind of like the way that I try to work things to have as much community involvement because I really want to hear from you guys. I mean, it's teamwork, working through true crime cases. And yeah, it was only on August 12th, the day before the murders, that she told her best friend about Chris Watts. They'd been dating, according to them, for 6 weeks. And I just think that is such absolutely crazy, curious timing. And just like with everything else she does and everyone else she talks to, her conversations with Charlotte is highly protected by Nicole Kessinger. She's very defensive about it, guarding all over the place. And, if you want to know more about her interactions with Charlotte, super shady stuff. go back a couple weeks and you'll find the content on the channel on that topic. Okay.
Like kind of on the right section of the main floor.
Okay.
Okay. So
Did you
there was
pay?
that.
Did he again pay with a gift card at that time?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I see you, Alex Booyah. Alex Yabu.
All right.
And then we went home.
Okay.
I know.
Did you
Us
see
junior
him the following
detectives.
weekend?
Yeah.
No, because he was out of town.
Okay. Do you know where he went?
Did you see him the following weekend? No, because he was out of town. That's an interesting answer, as it is. But oh wait, let's see what I wanted to pin the one about her saying like yeah. So oops, I keep missing it. Go back up. Go back up. Sorry, my mouse just got a little crazy. So Mark says the word like is so annoying. Oh, Mark. Just wait until we get to the part where I read the redacted portion of this interview. You will like hear me having to say like so many times. And because it's not natural for me to inject the word like into what I'm saying that often, I think it stands out more because it's unnatural for me. But then you see in the written word how many times like is included in her diatribes, shall we say. It's truly remarkable. It's truly remarkable.
Hi, Nikki. It's Kevin.
Oops.
Hi, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm okay.
All right.
Whoa, I went back to the beginning.
Number
Sorry about that. What the heck? Okay. Try to find where I was here. Sorry about that. Oops. My mouse is sticking. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. So we ran through something that I'm all right.
And then we went home.
Okay.
Okay, there we are.
Almost positive, because we hung out the weekend prior at the sand.
Oops.
That could at some point be very.
Oh wait, I want you to hear what he says here.
That could at some point. That's all right. So we ran through something that I'm the first time we talked, you were really tired. The second time you were overly stressed and you had thought of some very important stuff that you wanted to talk about. So it's fine. And I don't mind talking to you as many times as I have to talk to you to get everything down that could at some point be very important. It's fine.
Understood.
So just don't worry about that. My job is to talk to you and make sure that this stuff is, placed in a report so it's there forever. So it's fine.
Great point, Melanie.
I just keep telling you every time you when you remember things, just call me and we'll get it down. All right.
Okay, yeah, and I hope you guys pull cameras and all that, because I'm trying to help you. I'm really honestly disappointed that you guys don't have all my text messages or don't think that you do. It makes me sad.
Oh my God.
I want you guys to have.
It's really disappointing that you don't have all my text messages or you don't think you do. It makes me really sad. I really want you guys to have them. Just listen to this mother effer of a lie. Oh my God. She's insane, man. What the frick? This makes me mad.
Disappointed that you guys don't have all my text.
Oh, that makes me so angry.
That could.
Oops. That makes me so mad.
Fine. Again, I just keep telling you every time you when you remember things, just call me and we'll get it down. All right.
Watch what you wish for, boy.
Okay, yeah, and I hope you guys pull cameras and all that, because I'm trying to help you. I'm really honestly disappointed that you guys don't have all my text messages or don't think that you do. It makes me sad. I want you guys to have them. You need them, and it's frustrating to me.
Yeah,
but
no
I'll just tell you everything I know, and we'll go from there.
That's right.
Hold on. Hold on, what else? Oh, okay. So now let's go to this last week.
Okay.
Let's see. Depends. Okay. So Monday. I think probably probably the most important conversation that I had with him after all of that took place was that
Okay, so now she skipped over to Monday. So she's talking about Monday now. Okay.
first phone conversation on Monday night, like the later one. Remember I told you were telling me there's two big ones?
Right.
And the first one was the one where he mentioned the sheets, the smelly sheets with his kids. And that was also the one where he was telling me he was going to go get his wife's wedding ring appraised. That same conversation, I don't remember exactly how he phrased this. I don't remember what led to this, but he told me something about he mentioned that he had told, I don't know what he said. He said something about the separation and how she was okay with the fact that he wanted a separation, or that something like that. And I remember thinking to myself, wait a minute, what? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Here's the deal: is he had been telling me the whole time that I was spending time with him that he was getting separated, and he kept saying that he was the one who initially initiated the separation, and then that it was more of a mutual thing. He said that he was the one who had initially brought it up,
Okay.
Before we had met, and then she was on board with it, where she was just I'm not happy either, let's do this. And then I remember telling you guys that when he was going to go to North Carolina, I kind of backed away from the situation, and I was like, hey, I think you should try to fix things with her because you have a really beautiful life with her, and I think you should try to fix stuff. And he kept telling me I don't want to, I don't think she wants to, and I was just please try, just please try. I just thought he had such a beautiful life, and I was willing to just leave his life. I was like, if you work things out with your wife, I'm gone. And and that's fine, and he'd always be like, well, what about us? And I'd be like, don't worry about us. Try to fix stuff with her. And he said, okay, I will. And then when he went to North Carolina, he told me that he sat down and had a conversation with her, and that he told her that he wanted to fix it. That is what he said to me. He told her that he wanted to fix it, and she said no, that she still wanted the separation, and that she was ready to file for divorce. So I was under the impression when he got home from North Carolina that the divorce was filed. That was what I was under the impression. And so then on Monday, when we were on that one phone call where he was just saying all sorts of weird stuff, he again, I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was something along the lines of she was okay with the fact that I wanted the separation.
Right.
And then I remember asking him, I was like, wait a minute, when you were in North Carolina, you told me that you tried to fix it with her, and she was the one who said that she didn't want to fix it.
Okay.
And he's like, no, and then he goes, no, I just told her that I still wanted, to continue with the separation. And I'm just thinking in my head, he lied to me. God, he fucking lied to me. He lied so much.
Okay. So that just struck you as another lie?
Yeah, so that one I don't, and then now I'm seeing the news where he's telling everybody that he separated from her that he said he told her he wanted a separation on the Monday that she went missing. And I'm just thinking in my head, he told me that he had already had that conversation with her before I was even in his life.
Well, and so not to cause you any more stress, but so when you're talking to him on Monday, this is Monday, right? This isn't Sunday. This is Monday.
No, this is Monday.
So this is after the event. This is after the murders.
Yes.
He is telling you that she mentioned that it was she was okay with the separation, although now that that wasn't accurate. With those, that was something different than he had previously told you, and certainly she couldn't have been really saying anything, unfortunately. So. I mean, he's making up stories after his wife is deceased. Is that a fair
Yeah,
statement? Is that I'm kind of trying to follow.
Kevin Kobak's like, I'm trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about. And girlfriend, isn't this what's hitting you with some gravity that he's making up stories about his wife after she's deceased? Like, why are you getting hung up on all these details? I like that I can finally at least hear the frustration in his voice, but the lack of anything that they did about all of her lies makes me mad. It's just insane. It's unbelievable. It's always going to be unbelievable to me.
Where you're going.
I don't honestly, it just struck me as odd because I don't know if he was talking about the conversation they had that day or
Okay.
if he was talking about North Carolina. But either way,
It just struck you
it
as
was
a
weird.
lie.
It struck me weird because he said that he was the one that was like pushing for it now. And I was just thinking in the back of my head, like, he made it sound like when I first got into his life that he was the one who had brought up the separation, but that she was like super gung-ho about it. Like, he made it sound like she was all on board with it. And then when they were in North Carolina, he's the one who said that he tried to fix it and she didn't want anything to do with it. So it was weird to me when he was saying that he was the one that initiated the separation, because I'm like, wait a minute, like, and I think it was weird to me because I think he was referring to either whatever happened on Monday morning or he was referring to whatever happened in North Carolina. And I was just really confused because I was like, well, at that point, I thought she was the one pushing you away, like not you pushing her.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So I don't, it's just a lie.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if it has any significance, but it was just a lie that I caught him. And I think everything he told me was a lie, but it was like a lie on top of, it's a lie that contradicted the previous lies that he had told me.
I understand. What's next on your list?
Let me see. Okay, so then in that same exact conversation, two more things happened.
Okay.
One, I was asking him about his daughter's EpiPen because I know that Cece has that tree nut allergy.
Okay.
And I was like,
Hey, Karen G. And by the way, we are almost to the redacted portion, okay?
I don't remember like word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, she didn't take your daughter's EpiPen, and he was like, no. And I was like, well, aren't you a little worried? Because I was like trying to do my own reconnaissance, and I was like, aren't you worried about that? And he's like, well, we have like a stash of them in the basement or something like that. And he's like, she probably just took one of those. And I just thought it was weird because several weeks earlier he had told me how expensive EpiPens were. So I'm like, if they're not expensive, how do you have a stash? You don't have a stash. Nobody can afford a stash of EpiPens.
Right.
MK, we just heard, leave Jim alone. We actually just heard that because it was relevant to what we're talking about today. But welcome. How are you doing?
Very expensive.
Yeah. So I almost was like,
Again, the audio mysteriously cuts off. It sounds like there's some glitchiness happening. I don't know. But when you hear this, I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think this audio cut was intentional or was it a technology glitch? So they're talking about Celeste's nut allergy and EpiPens.
So, whoops, I want to put out to you. So when I say, so that's where the audio ended, okay? And so what I'm going to be reading now from the transcript, and again, please forgive my role-playing voice if you don't like it. I'm not trying to be minimizing of the seriousness of the case or anything like that. I was just trying to make it so you could understand who was talking. So do you think that the audio just happened to cut off and whoops, or do you think that it intentionally cut off at right around that point? I think in this one, it was intentionally done because when we listen to what happens from here on out, well, figure it out for yourself what you think. And I want to know what you think, but that's my opinion. You'll see why I think.
And Chris saying that they had a stash of EpiPens in the basement. So Kobak says, right, they're expensive. Kessinger says, and yeah, I almost was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, that was a lie too. And so, okay. So there's that. And then also in that same conversation, so then I started questioning him about why he didn't go to the office on Monday. And I was like, and again, like, it's not an abnormal thing.
Okay, so listen. Okay, all right. So right off the bat, guys, okay, this is really important. The audio was cut off, okay? They finish up their quick conversation about the EpiPens, and then immediately after the audio was cut off, she says, "Then I started asking him about why he didn't go into the office that day." Now remember, based on the past couple interviews and 4 different sound bites from those interviews that we listened to, we have established this, that there was only bullshit, non-consequential, not significant text between Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger that day. She's wavered back and forth on the story of whether she was even concerned about the possibility of his involvement on that day or not. She only mentioned that she was actually concerned at some point on Monday when she found out that law enforcement, in fact, did have her phone records and knew how many times they called back and forth Monday evening, which is about 20 times, a total of over 3 hours of conversation between them. And, up until this point, she said it was no big deal that Chris was going to the field and not the office on Monday morning, and that he told Nicole Kessinger that on Sunday night. That's like normal standard operating procedure, standard SOP. Okay. But now listen to what she is saying now. And again, this is right after the audio portion of the interview cuts off. Do you think this audio? They had a stash of EpiPens in the basement. Okay, so here goes. So Kobak says, right, they're expensive. Kessinger says, and yeah, I almost was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, that was a lie too. And so, okay. So there's that. And then also in that same conversation, so then I started questioning him about why he didn't go to the office on Monday. Okay, so now all of a sudden she's questioning him about why he didn't go to the office on Monday. But up until this point, in 2 different interviews across 2 different days, in 4 different instances, she made a point of saying how, like, not a big deal and inconsequential that was. And I was like, and again, like, it's not an abnormal thing for him to not go to the office, but it's less common. Like, I would say it happens maybe once, like every couple weeks, or maybe once or twice a month. Like, it's pretty like, it occurs, so it's not like extremely abnormal. But I just thought it was ironic that his wife was missing and he wasn't at the office that morning. Okay. And so, here's the deal. So Sunday night, he told me I have to go straight to the field. I mean, I guess that's something else you probably want to know. Okay. So I didn't think of that. So Sunday night during which conversation? So one we're talking about now? I don't, is your first, you referred to it as your first conversation. I don't remember. You had 2 that were lengthy. One, I believe, was from 9 to 11 at night. And we had talked a little bit. It was. One, I believe, he says, was from 9 to 11 at night. Once again, trying to hit that 111-minute phone conversation from another angle because bitch won't talk. About this previously, about him saying that he wasn't going to go to the office. Yeah, so I'm sorry. It's like I jump around sometimes. That's okay. When I start remembering stuff, so he let me just answer the big conversation that we're talking about, the really important one where okay. I'm like, don't go anymore. Because some people, I think understanding the sequence of, what was said by her in these interviews is important. So I'm trying to like create content that's laying it all out for you. I'm going to do a playlist where it puts everything in order once I get everything like finally recorded and up, which I think it might be actually done now. So let's see. Got to make this bigger. Tasha L. Hi, Tasha. How are you doing? Says, was it before or after this interview where she said he had never lied to me before? It was the lies that made me delete the text. And that was before the one we are listening to today. What you're quoting there was said in her second interview 3 days after the murders. And that was on August 16th. And oh, I'm sorry. The one that we're listening to now is August 21st. So that's like 5 days later. So that was said well before that. Okay. So again, this is the fourth interview. This is the second of 4 or 5 interviews. It's the second to the last one. The last interview was on August 23rd. The one we're listening to now is on August 21st, just to give you some context. Okay. He like gave me all those like weird one-off details that he was the first long conversation on Monday night. I don't know what time that was, but that was like the first long one where he said all of that stuff. Like all of that was in one conversation. That and when you say all that stuff, like the smelly sheets, talking about the ring, the wedding ring. Okay. The weird part where he slipped up about like him being the one to push the say, okay, gotcha. Them separating and not her. So, and and then the EpiPen thing, and then all of that. And then so back to Sunday, August the 12th. That night, I believe, we only had one phone conversation. I looked at it. I pulled up my phone. Okay, so now she's talking about Sunday, August the 12th. She's like, I believe we only have one phone conversation. Isn't that good? You know, I didn't talk, you know, I talked for 111 minutes, but only once. She says, I looked at it. I pulled my phone records. Okay, that's where we're at. Records today, and I'm pretty sure we only had one phone conversation. And then I think I just went to bed. Okay. But on Sunday night, the phone conversation, that's the one where I heard the TV on in the background and I was like, maybe he's staying up waiting for her. Do you remember I told you guys that? Yes. I was like, I think it was really weird that the TV was on because he talks to me when he's in bed and he wasn't in bed. So this is the same conversation. In that conversation, he told me, I have to go straight to the field tomorrow. And he was just like, you know, like I'm not going to get to see you in the morning. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, why? And just like, I gotta go. He's like, I gotta go check out a site. Okay, now listen, this is where she is talking about Chris Watts telling her about going straight out to the field and not to the office Monday morning. This testimony that she's giving right now greatly diverges from everything that she has said before across 2 interviews, across 4 different times that they were talking about this, which ended up being a total of like 45 minutes of talk. Totally different from all of that. And like a release in the morning, and a release is like when the oil industry has like a release of any type of like oil products or anything like from any of our equipment. And I was like, I remember asking him, I was like, well, why would you have to go check out the release? You're not part of the environmental team. So when you say release. Oh, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden she's saying, wait a minute. And I said to him, why would you have to go check out the release? You're not part of the environmental team. Well, you know what? And I do believe that. But in every, account that she gave before this, she thought nothing of it. There's no conversation about it. It was just nothing to see here. Commonplace, happens sometimes. All the guys do it. Ain't no thing. He was just going to the field, not the office Monday morning. But now all of a sudden she's questioning him. Is that he was like a spill? Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't want to call it or like something's leaking or because, yeah, like something's leaking. Like, okay. Anything that's involved with the oil and gas industry, anytime, like, so, like, if a piece of equipment leaks, I mean, you've got to think they've got millions and millions of pieces of equipment. Like, sure, it happens. And so he's like, I have to go check out a release. And I remember asking him, I was like, why do you need to go do that? You're not part of the environmental team because, like, our field operators, they will find releases and they'll call our environmental team, which is like who I work for. They don't call me though, because I'm not the one that deals with that stuff, but they do call people like in my department and they say, hey, I'm on this job site and like a tank battery is leaking or like oil tanks leaking or something like that.
And then we go out and assess it and clean it up and so on and so forth. So
Yes. And sorry, I'm going to get right back to that. I don't mean to interrupt, but this is going to be for those of you who are kind of like aren't sure where we're going. I mean, we'll give you a little preview here. Bonnie Reagan, hi Bonnie, how are you? Says she has to reveal that she asked for confirmation that they have the text now. So, and listen, guys, this isn't even the biggest, spoiler alert ahead. But what happens is she does ask Chris Watts for confirmation that he's actually at Survey 319 that Monday morning. Whoa, I guess she forgot about that all the other time she was talking about it, that she asked him to prove to her in real time, and she's going to say in her own words in just a couple minutes, that he was actually at Survey. What is up with that? But wait until you hear the rest of it, because remember, the only way that they communicated on Monday was through bullshit, inconsequential, nothing to see here texts, right? No phone conversations. She said it several times. Liar, liar, pants on fire, taquito.
oh, it's noted unintelligible. So those are actually specialists that go out and clean this up, and he's not one of those people. No, he's not. But sometimes, like those guys, like his job is important to like shut in oil wells if there's a leak, or like shut valves if there's a leak. Like he manages the equipment. So when he was he's like, I got to go out check a release, and I was like, why are you going to do that? That's not your job. And he was just like, I need to go check out some of the equipment where the release occurred. Now, that part really didn't seem too odd to me. I mean, it makes sense that they're like, hey, we have a release. Send an operator out and make sure he said he had to do a lockout, tag out on this site. So that means
we're going to get there. Sorry, I can't, my eyes are like killing me and I can't see. Mel Yell 33 says, I never understood why she asked for proof of his locations. Can y'all help me out with that? We're going to get there. Hang tight. And then I'll explain things that might not be crystal clear, or we'll talk about together. Maybe you'll explain to me.
means that depending on where the release is, if it's near a piece of equipment that could be have like potential energy to be hazardous, what we do in the oil industry is what's called a lockout tagout. And certified operators such as himself will go out there and they will pull a lock with a tag on the piece of equipment where you operate it, so that it cannot be in use. Like they'll de-energize the piece of equipment and like shut it down, and then they'll put a lockout tag out on it. And then the point is so then if the environmental team comes in to clean up the mess, nobody accidentally re-energizes this piece of equipment while we're trying to clean up the mess, because it could injure somebody. Does that make sense? Yes, I got it. Okay, so now I'm remembering this just now, and he's like, I think I gotta go do a lockout tag out on some of that equipment for the release. Would that be something that would have been tracked? Certainly, there's a lot of paperwork and safety requirements and all sorts of things with each site. So if he was actually going to do a lockout tag out, would that be something that I'd be able to look up at record at Anadarko and know that he was actually assigned to do that? To be honest with you, probably. Again, I did not work with him, but if there's one thing that I do know about Anadarko, and I love, and I'm going to miss those guys so much, it's the fact that they're very safe. Like, that is, they're one of the best oil and gas companies because of how safe they are. So with that being said, I would be willing to bet that there's typically, like you, a protocol. Right. So I mean that there would have to be a known problem for him to do a lockout tagout, right? Yes. So yes. Somebody would have had to call and said, there's in your guys' words, release at the site. Then some boss or whoever it may be would call Chris and say, hey, Chris, I need you to go check this out. If you're a skilled equipment operator, you make the decision.
you lock it out if you have to. Then the environmental team comes and cleans it up. So there's got to be like a track. Yep. Record of all that's going on. I'm assuming that there's probably is because lockout, tag out, because if, I mean, it's to save lives. So it's a very serious thing. Right. It's a safety thing. And like certainly certain people, yeah, and like only certain people are authorized. And like I couldn't lock out, tag out something like I don't have right that certification. Plus you're shutting down. It's not a piece of equipment that makes money. So yes. Somebody wants to know that, right? Yes. Somebody there, yes. There is a, I mean, there it's a business. I'm just trying to think as a business person how they would do that, because certainly if you're doing that, they want to get the team out there and clean up whatever is going on as soon as possible. So they can get that piece of equipment back in order and running so they can continue to pump oil. Understood. Well, and to the other thing too is like he hadn't even looked at the site yet. So it's like, how do you know that you need to do a lockout tag out? I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so now she's really hardcore questioning why Chris Watts went straight out to the field that Monday morning, the Monday morning of the murders, and not into the office, whereas we've already established through her previous interviews and everything she said, she wasn't questioning at all. It did not bring up it did not trigger her at all. It did not alert her at all. These things that she says. And the communications between herself and Chris Watts during that day were just text messages back and forth, not too many, barely, like no consequence, bullshit stuff, chit chat, talking every day bullshit. Now, pausing there, let's remember that it was Friday when this apparent release or little small oil leak spot was found. And then Chris Watts over the weekend had contacted the people that he works with and volunteered to go out there to take care of it. Now, first of all, one reason this is very curious is we did have an oil field expert on the channel at one point. Actually, I had two of them, and they both agreed that there's no way in hell that you would allow even the smallest bit of oil outside of, the proper piping and tanks and everything that is supposed to be contained in on the ground without handling it immediately in that moment as an emergency. That's always an emergency. You don't leave an oil that has come out of its container, over a weekend. So this is very strange to begin with. I just want to, give it that context and that backdrop of the whole situation not adding up whatsoever.
That's noted unintelligible. I mean, I would like to, it's something for me to investigate. I'm just kind of trying to get because you obviously know a lot. Yeah, more about the oil industry. I don't know anything about it. That makes sense to me. And that's good. So that's good. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think of that till just now. So anyways, that is a question for Anadarko. That's not a question for me. Yup.
Audio. Oh crap! I'm gonna find it again. I'm sorry. It'll only take me a second. Thank you very much, Double R, for the super chat. Double R says, "What's the obsession? I absolutely enjoy your multiple voices of all characters involved. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's the obsession, fam? Contact me for air balloon rides, but don't ask. Please don't get lost in your air balloon again. We were like, people were ready to call 911. Double R, don't do that to us. But thank you so much for your continued support, and you are absolutely awesome. We love Double R, and thank you so much. I appreciate you." And let me get back to my spot here because my mouse is sticking. I keep doing that. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see. So we're probably about maybe here. Let's see.
With a tag on the
Okay.
And know that he was actually assigned to do that.
All right. We're close.
A protocol. Right. So I mean that there would have to be because if, I mean, it's to save lives. So they want to get the team out there and clean up whatever is going on as soon as possible. So they want to get the team out there and clean up me to investigate. I'm just kind of trying to get because you obviously know a lot. Yeah, more about
Yeah.
the oil industry. I don't know anything about it. That makes sense to me. And that's good. So that's good. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even like think of that till just now. So anyways, that is a question for Anadarko. That's not a question for me. Yup. So he told me he was gonna have to do that, and I was like, all right, cool. And then so he didn't show up for work. I mean, well, he did show up for work on Monday, but supposedly he was in the field. And then Monday evening, after my friend Jim left, that's when Chris and I spoke on the phone in that first really extended conversation.
Okay, so she says supposedly Chris was out in the field. So she's setting him up, giving him that indication that I didn't really believe he was out there. So wait till you hear the crazy thing I did, and wait until you hear how many lies that I have told you that are going to be revealed when I have to try to explain this away.
Again, I don't know exactly what time it was. It was late, but that first really extended conversation, that's when he started kind of all that really creepy stuff. And then in that conversation, I started questioning him. And I was like, do you really? I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I asked him, I was like, did you really go to a job site this morning? And he was like, yeah. I was like, and who told you to go there? And I think he said his foreman had asked him to go, either him or his like co-cowing man is this guy named Troy. I don't know Troy. I don't even know what he looks like, but I do know he exists. So I guess their foreman relies on Chris and Troy to kind of like run their little part of the field. And so Chris was like, yeah, either he or Troy go out there and go look at it. And do you know the foreman's name? I don't. He's got a few of them, I think. Okay. I want to say that's okay. I want to say Luke Epple, but I don't know.
You're going to need to find that out with Anadarko too.
Okay.
That's an Anadarko question.
That's all right. And I know who, but Luke is, and I know who Troy is, so probably have already answered that. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Great.
So, so I told him to prove it because at this point, I mean, the things he'd been saying, like the sheets was kind of weird. You know what it was? It was a wedding ring comment that freaked me out. Like the sheets did, like was kind of weird at the time. The fact that I thought he had just lied to me about their separation, but it was like the wedding ring comment. Like he was so callous. Like he was just ready to like cash it in and get some money.
You were telling me.
And I was just like,
him to prove what?
To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away.
Okay, so.
Okay, guys. Like, so this is critical. Let me go back a couple seconds, okay? Please listen carefully. But it was like the wedding ring comment. Like he was so callous. Like he was just ready to like cash it in and get some money.
You were telling me.
And I was just like,
him to prove what?
To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away.
Okay, so
now she's breaking into Kevin Kobak that she asked Chris Watts to send her something to prove to her that he was told to go to the field right away after she had made a point on 4 different occasions across 2 interviews that lasted like a long conversation. That was like, did not alert her, no red whatevers. Nothing to see here, not a big deal, happens all the time. All the guys do it. Didn't talk that much on Monday, just a few texts back and forth, bullshit stuff, nothing of consequence, chit chat, blah, blah, blah. Different story now. It's just not clear. We all know that it took plunder, a lot of time, commitment, and probably junk. I did that again. Sorry, guys. Whoa. What? Am I even on the right thing? How did this happen? Okay, no, I did. Okay. Oh, there. We got the picture. Okay, good. And he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. And wait, let me go back a little bit. Okay, just so important. Okay. And I was just like,
Him to prove what? To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away. Okay, so, and he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. And did he?
So she says, I told him I wanted proof that he was told to go out there first thing and that he was in fact there. He says, how do I do that? I says, you take screenshots from your phone and send them to me. She orders him.
Do that? And yes, he did. Okay, all right.
And he did it.
And he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was 2 pictures of a release followed intermittently, like there was text like on either side of the picture. And it looked, I didn't get everything. He just sent me like part of their conversation, and I didn't have dates and times on either. Like you couldn't see the dates and times of what he was sending me. So he could have been sending.
So she says he sent me something that was proof that he went out there, that he was told to go out there first thing, because I wasn't believing him and I wanted proof that he went straight out to Survey 319, and why was he not in the office? So he did send me this proof as I ordered him to, but it really wasn't sufficient because it didn't have date and time stamps.
Me something that was like not recent. It could have been something from like weeks ago and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me. And he sent it quick, like it just like instantaneously when I asked him for it, like I was still on the phone with him.
What? Did you hear that? He sent it quick, like instantaneously. Because why? How does she know? She was still on the phone with him. Well, hot damn. I thought, Kessinger, you didn't talk to him at all on Monday until Monday evening. What? I thought the only thing that happened between you guys as far as communication during the day on Monday was a few bullshit texts back and forth, non-consequential, nothing to see here, nothing substantial at all that could possibly be relevant to anything that happened having to do with the murders of his family and out of Survey 319 where he disposed of their bodies. Yet she knows that she was in fact on the phone with him demanding picture evidence of why he was out there, did not report straight to the office, but instead went straight to Survey 319. And she wanted to know that that in fact was true because she was questioning the whole damn thing. And she just missed this. She just forgot to tell law enforcement about this until 8 days after the murders on her 4th interview. Her 6th or 7th hour of being interviewed. Seriously.
And right. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone.
She says it again. And I looked at it while I was still on the phone. Let's listen to that again. Because how many times did she maintain that she did not talk on the phone with him until later that evening?
All right. And he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was 2 pictures of a release followed intermittently, like there was text like on either side of the picture. And it looked, I didn't get everything. He just sent me like part of their conversation, and I didn't have dates and times on either. Like you couldn't see the dates and times of what he was sending me. So he could have been sending me something that was like not recent. It could have been something from like weeks ago and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me. And he sent it quick, like it just like instantaneously when I asked him for it, like I was still on the phone with him. And
I was still on the phone with him.
Right. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone.
And then I looked at it while I was still on the phone. Are you guys grasping what a big deal this is? I mean, she is saying in her own words that she lied to law enforcement about her talking to him on the day of the murders and her being suspicious of what he was up to on the day of the murders. Remember how many times she had told law enforcement prior to knowing that they in fact had her phone records, that she had absolutely no suspicion of him whatsoever, ever in their entire relationship, and definitely not on Monday, not until Tuesday when she opened up the newspaper and found out that Shanann Watts was pregnant, which she never knew before, which is total bullshit. But now it's Monday morning, first thing in the morning, and she's demanding proof that Chris is out actually at Survey 319 and that he was told to go out there when she knows ever since the 15th going to the 16th that is where Shanann's body was found buried in a disrespectful, shallow grave in the ground with her baby. And Bella and Celeste were disposed of in crude oil tanks. And she knows that. And she doesn't bother to fess up about this. I mean, if that doesn't prove that she has something to hide, guys, I don't know what does.
And it made sense of what he'd been saying, but okay. The only thing in there, yeah, like it almost looked like someone else was originally going to go to that site, and it looked like the conversation, someone, I interpreted it, the conversation that had with his foreman and with Troy or whoever was in that conversation. It looked like the conversation had occurred probably at some point over the weekend. And then it looked like Troy, I think, or somebody else in the field was originally going to go out there first thing on Monday, and he told them not to worry about it and that he would do it. Okay. And I don't know the exact words. Like, I don't have the whole conversation. Again, it's something that you need to go to Anadarko for that. Yep. Okay. What's next? And yes, well, then that was, and that conversation, that's the end of that. And then, okay. What else? Oh, okay. And then that same night, remember I told you we had that one big phone conversation that you and me just discussed. Then we FaceTime for like 2 minutes, right? And then we had another big phone conversation. Yep. So when we FaceTimed, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant, but like you say, just say it anyways. He was wearing a black wife beater. I think it was black. And I told you guys that he was laying on a mattress that had no sheets. And so I've been in his house, but I've never been in his kids' room or the room where his wife slept. Like, I went upstairs once, but it was back to that little playroom where all the books are at, right? But I did not go into any of the rooms up there, like, ever. But I remember that time I did go upstairs. The bedroom door to the upstairs bedroom, like the main room, was open, and I really, like, I didn't want to look, but like just when I was walking by, I just noticed they have like a really big bed. Like it was like tall, pillory, just like a big bed frame. So I don't really know exactly what it looked like. I just looked like a quick glance or whatever. It's just like, that looks really big and nice, you know? Sure. But again, I didn't go in there, so I didn't get like a good view of it. But I noticed that the night that we were FaceTiming, I was trying to figure out where the hell he was, because I was like, he was laying down talking to me, and he didn't have any sheets on the bed. But the background didn't look like the basement. And I've seen the basement, and I've seen the bed in the basement. Like, I've seen his little dwelling area down there, and it didn't look like that. And I saw, it kind of looked like he was laying down and he had the phone like facing him.
I just want to answer, or I just want to respond to this. Hey, Kelly. Kelly says she's really repetitive, saying things 3 times in a row. Is that a speech disorder? I think what she is doing, a lot of times when people lie, they will, the kind of the feeling is, without consciously thinking about this, that the more I repeat it, the more I double down on it, the more solid it's going to sound, the more real it is going to be, the more real it is going to sound to those who are listening. So a lot of time, people who are pathological liars will be repetitive in what they say, either in that moment, like saying the same sentence over again and over again, or repeating themselves and then a minute later repeating that again, and that, kind of across time. So I personally, there's really no way to know, but I personally think that is what's going on with her, because that is a known pattern of speaking with pathological liars.
But you could kind of see in the background, like the bed, and it looked like a really elegant, really tall bed frame. So you think it was the master bedroom? Yes, I do. Okay. I think it was. I didn't ask, but I'm assuming it was, and just no sheets on there. Okay. Like I remember the mattress. If I remember properly, I think it was blue.
Anaphylaxis. I think that's a good explanation too. Anaphylaxis said to Kelly's question about the repeating things that she thinks that she is trying to do it to think about what to say next. That is a really great explanation too. Probably a combination of the both.
Blue, but I don't remember 100%. But he was just like laying on it in a black wife beater, and I just remember like seeing this and again, like I've never been in the room, so I don't know. Okay. 100% like, oh, that was it. It kind of looked like something very elegant, and it definitely was not in the basement. Okay, what's next? Keeping you on track. I'm trying to go in order. I think that's it. Okay. I think that's all I've got. So I asked you a couple of questions when I was driving, when we talked earlier today, and since we weren't, okay, on tape, I'm just going to ask, okay, which was when I called you after we looked at your phone download and told you that the messages you deleted, like right now, they don't look like, I mean, I can't see them, so I'm trying to recover them. Like I told you though, some computer forensics. We'll see if we can get that done. But one of the questions I had for you was if you ever had social media, and you said you did not. So no.
To Nicole Kessinger about her having social media or not.
You don't use. I don't. Any social media. You've never used Facebook or Facebook Messenger with Chris? No, nothing. I never used any social media with him at all. I have LinkedIn when him and I first started hanging out for business purposes, but it was something like I was like never on. And then honestly, once all of this news media stuff and everything started happening, I deleted the LinkedIn. So that's it. It's harder for these people to try to come track me down and ask me a million questions. But I never ever spoke to him on that. I don't even think he has it. I don't even know. I like never used it. Okay, and then so I don't know. But as far as actual social media, I haven't had any of that other stuff like I never had Twitter. I never had Instagram. I haven't had Facebook since 2016. So no, him and I never had any connection on any social media. Do you know when he closed his Facebook? No. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to write that down the other day. He mentioned to me on Saturday.
Now, this is pretty interesting too. She goes on to talk about how he says he deleted his Facebook, and see how she checks up on this.
When we were at dinner, I think it was either when we were talking in the restaurant or walking out of the restaurant. Okay, what did he say? He just like offhandedly was like, oh, I shut down Facebook. And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, cause I'm never really on there. He's like, she used to be on there all the time for work. And he's like, but I don't need it. And he just like, it was like very like random, nonchalant comment. And I was, so do you was surprised. Oh, and then no. And then I asked him, I said, did you shut it down all the way? And he kind of like gave me this puzzled look. I was like, you have to actually like write Facebook a letter. I mean, not like a letter, but you need to send them an email. You can't just deactivate it. I was like, you need to send them an email that says, I'm so-and-so, and I want you to shut down my account.
I wonder who's done that before.
So what was his response to that? I don't remember what he said to me. So do you think I really don't. Just deactivated it? I don't think he did it. Not shut it down? That's what I think he did. Okay. But I don't think he
I don't even think he knew that he hadn't completely gotten rid of it. Okay, because I've done it, so I know what you have to do it. Okay, anything else? No, but that was just kind of offhanded that you mentioned that. So yeah, okay. But we never talked on Facebook. And then I ask you if necessary, if for some reason I need to get your phone, that you would be willing to provide me the handset if necessary, and you were in agreement to that. Yeah, I mean, just you guys just give me something else so I can like get a hold of people in my life that I need to get a hold of. That's fine. Okay. Can I have it back when you guys are done though? I mean, if you need to keep it, I can like go get another phone if I have to. Well, we can work that out should that come up. I'm okay. Still waiting. Okay. Waiting for a call from the computer forensic expert to okay. Give me an idea. Because of your phone's an iPhone, which makes and my knowledge of this is that if you deleted something off an iPhone, it's gone. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, so I asked you to call Verizon because that's your provider. And so if they could give me some advice on that, did you happen to do that? I did. So I got on their online chat and I saved that in case for some reason you guys need it. You can see that I asked them. I was able to, they told me that there's like several cloud storage devices. They said that Verizon has a cloud, and iPhone has a cloud. And I checked and listen to this, all the knowledge that she has about different phone companies saving text messages and whatnot for various lengths of time. And of course, my iPhone cloud backup is not it's not active. Okay.
So go figure. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. I really don't. Well, that's why I asked you if you used any cloud stuff earlier. So none of that was active? No, that was not. And then I asked them, they're like, well, your phone works with Verizon iCloud. And I was like, well, how do I activate that? Like, how do I open that? Where do I find that in my phone? And he's like, oh, it's an app. You have to download the app. And I was like, well, is anything from previous conversations going to be on there if I haven't downloaded the app yet? And he said, no. Okay. But I'll let you guys look at the conversation and my phone and maybe, no. You guys can figure something out. It makes perfect sense to me that I can't. I know exactly what they're saying. So that was their only. So they were saying if you had the cloud, it would have been backed up to the cloud. But since you didn't, the messages are gone. Yeah. And my iPhone cloud is not backing anything up either. Right. So okay. It's just not active. So I'm really sorry about that, but that's okay. On a good note, so then I found this thing under data usage. I'll show you. I was going to bring my laptop in when I come. Not that you need anything off of there, but just so I can like show you my Verizon account, and maybe we can see if we can dig up some stuff on there. But I found messages, and it wasn't the actual body of the text message, but it was like the date, time, and the phone. Okay. Number that went to it, and I received it and I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, it's a message log. And even if it wasn't the body of the message, it would probably help us figure out what's missing and what's not. And I was super excited. And then I started scrolling through it and realized that the last ones they have are from August 14th. So I think they keep them for a week and then they get rid of them. Okay, so did you screenshot that? I wish I would have known that 2 days ago. What's that? Did you take a screenshot of that or anything like that? I mean, I can if you want me to.
She knew that. She knew that because she looked it up. And it's very convenient that she's just talking about this now the 8th day after.
Or is it
when they keep them for 7 days?
Is it in your, it's just, is that in your personal Verizon account? Yes. Yeah. So it would, you, oh, yeah. So would you just like print that page or something for me? Because in the event that they are, computer generation deletion, if there is something there, I'd like to try to save it as much as we can. Well, I mean, I wish you guys would have told me this like 2 days ago, because if they're only saving, it looks like they're not saving the body of the messages. It looks like, right, like what they're doing is saving the date and time. It's like a timestamp for the text message, sure. And who they came from. It looks like they're only saving them for a week, like, right? Because he knows that. And she knows this too because she researched it. Okay, I'm not going to interject again. Back to Kessinger. Today they went from 8:14, August 14th, and I'm afraid that if I wait, tomorrow they'll only be able to go back to 8:15, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you print those tonight, so and that'll be great. Just like, I know, I was so bummed. I was like, the 2 days I needed, like right before they were cut off. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh my God.
I think we're going to be okay with what we have. Like I said, I'm just trying to make sure we have as much info as possible. And sometimes it takes a little extra bit of work to get that information, but I'm okay with that because it could be very important later on down the line. It could be very important now. But you just don't want to lose it. I agree. Well, and it's like, I know that sometimes like I miss some things, but also like I want you guys to see those texts because maybe there's something important there that I can't even think of, Sure. Or not only that, but like it validates everything that I'm saying to you guys, right? Okay.
Yes, total damsel in distress routine. Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to work on those texts. Like I said, I'm going to talk to the agent who is kind of the lead agent on the case, and I think that she's going to want to sit down with you and kind of like go through the context of the messages to get a better idea, because text messages are just words. We don't know what was said.
Now, I think he was talking about Tammy Lee here, and it's damn shame that she didn't actually go through this with her like he's saying. Let me just go back a little bit. Do you think he's talking about Tammy Lee here?
Well, I'm going to work on those texts. Like I said, I'm going to talk to the agent who is kind of the lead agent on the case, and I think that she's going to want to sit down with you and kind of like go through the context of the messages to get a better idea, because text messages are just words. We don't know what was said before that in a phone conversation, or what might have been followed up in a phone conversation, or what prompted a text message to be sent, either from a prior meeting or something like that. So it'll be very helpful. I don't think that's going to happen this week because I know she's super busy. So just be patient with that. That information isn't going anywhere. We have that retained, and I appreciate you saying that you'll cooperate in doing that. No, I mean, I really, really want to help you guys. I mean, I have no reason not to help you guys. I can't even believe that he's trying to blame this on his wife. I can't imagine like how hard he's making this on the family right now. It just makes me so sad. It's so sad. Right. All right. Well, keep taking notes as new things come to mind. Okay, but I was going to tell you, I did get my phone log, okay? I got everything through the 13th. It was on my last month's billing statement, so I got a PDF of that. I did save it. It's on my desktop. It shows all of my incoming and outgoing in it, and it shows like where it was generated from. So like if I was at work, it shows like Platteville, and if I was home, it says Thornton. Like, sure. I've got those. Do you have my email address on my business card? Okay, you want me to just email it to you? That'd be great. Then okay, then that would be the easiest for both of us.
Okay, then my next billing cycle start on the 14th. So if you guys want if you want phone records from the 14th, they're not like in this nice PDF because they haven't billed me for it yet. They're like in this weird shitty Excel file, and I tried to like open it and like make it user friendly and readable, and I don't feel like it's an Excel sheet. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah. What to do with it? I mean, I know what it's in. It'll be fine. You can send it to me however you have it. So you want the Excel? Okay, so do you want the Excel sheet too? Because like I said, sure. I have the PDF copy goes, yup, through the 13th. Then the Excel is like that. Sheet is like 14th on, but the dates don't show up on the Excel sheet when I downloaded it. I don't know what I gotta look and see. Okay, if I can get that to work. And if it doesn't work, I mean, at the end of the billing cycle, which will be in probably like 3 weeks or so, then I can give you the 14th. Yup. You know what I mean? And then you can just send me everything that you have off of this most recent. And then when your bill comes in, if you're remember to just send that to me. And we're getting those records, but again, I always have like to ask, they're your records, so I always ask for you to share those with me. That way it shows cooperation, number one. Let me say it again. It shows cooperation, number one. Number two, if we don't have something, then I'd have to go back and write a warrant to get it. Number two, if we don't have something, then I'd have to go back and write a warrant to get it. You're consenting to give it that stuff me, and it's helpful to our investigation, and that's all we really care about. I know, and I want you guys, to do the best you can. And so any way that I can help, I'm really disappointed about those texts. I just honestly, that wasn't the first thing on my mind when I like deleted them. I was just like, I was so disgusted with him. I was like, I don't even want to look at this. Like, you need to go away from my life, like right now. And I just, boom, got rid of it. Okay. I didn't even like realize like, oh my God, these guys are going to need these. It's okay. You didn't know. We talked about this. Don't beat yourself up about the text. We'll figure it out. It's noted that it's unintelligible. Okay. All right. I'm hoping we can recover most of them. I think I had one more thing to say to you. I don't know. The media is like really noted unintelligible. Today it's crazy. After I got off the phone with you, I literally probably got like numerous phone calls from friends and numerous texts from people saying that the media is like coming to their house and asking them questions. So I don't know. I must be hiding out pretty well because good. They're going to great lengths. Like I've had people that I haven't talked to in like a year trying to contact me, like people like old coworkers I hardly even know, like, hey, are you okay? Well, just continue to do what you're doing and your choice whether to talk to them or not. And you don't have to talk to them if you don't want to. And just like we said before, your dad is probably your best ally in this, and hopefully he'll take some of the brunt. These people phoning and tell them to go away if that's your wishes. And then go from there. But stay in touch with me. If you go somewhere, like, if you're going to leave the state or whatever, just make sure you let me know your phone number and address where if I have to send you legal correspondence, I could send that to you. Okay. I will definitely do that. I've already discussed the situation with my dad to if somebody, an attorney needed to get you for a hearing or something, they just say, hey, leave my client alone. Call me. Okay, and then my question, can they release my name to the papers? No information on me? I'm sure that they're trying to put two and two together at this point. I feel like that it would be a very bold statement to be like, who is this?
and it was that they have no idea. I mean, so they can do anything they want to. It's their repercussions for doing anything, of course. I don't think they're gonna be cautious. I think that media really, they get involved in all these cases and they don't report something until they know accurately, especially names, because if let's say that your name is, Nikki, somebody else, and you're the wrong person, do they open themselves up to exposure for a lawsuit by slandering somebody's name? Absolutely. So I don't think that you need to worry about that. I do think like I told you this morning, there are some warrants that have gone out. I do believe that they're sealed, that do have your name on it because of the phone information. Some of the stuff between you and Chris, your name is in those. Now those are sealed. When those come unsealed, I don't know. That's a judge's decision, not
I don't even want to
mine.
listen to him like rambling, trying to fulfill the answers to her self-absorbed questions. So, what is important that we learn today, Klaus? It is that the most important thing by far is that although Nicole Kessinger maintained on several different occasions, that she was not at all alerted or concerned about anything that was going on with Chris Watts relative to his family members being missing or really anything at all. No concern about that for, at all until Tuesday when she opened a newspaper and found out that Shanann was pregnant, which obviously is a total lie. I made a couple of videos about that too. It is a proven lie. She absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, knew that Shanann was pregnant. She had to back up on all of that. That's what she told law enforcement for the first 2 interviews. And then it was at the second interview, she found out that law enforcement had her phone records. So now she needed to change things up to explain away all of the myriad of calls on Monday evening that lasted for a total of 3 hours and went till 3:00 in the morning. And that she was freaking out. That's why she kept calling back those small calls. It was because she was freaking out. So now the story has changed. And then also when, Kevin Kobak was asking about the 111-minute phone conversation, which he asked about, I've counted a total of 11 times across their interviews. There's probably more hidden in there. Those are just the ones that I've counted, like that I kind of, had in my mind. And I went back and checked. I was like, oh, yep, there's one. She kind of, I think, parlays off of that topic by saying, well, he did tell me that he was going to be going straight out to the field in the morning instead of into the office. And she says on 4 different occasions across at least 2 interviews, possibly 3, that was no big deal. Nothing to see here. Guys did it all the time. He did it on several occasions. Other guys did it. There was no issue at all with him going out to the field instead of right to the office. Then all of a sudden in this interview, which is 8 days after the tragedy occurred, and she has time to think about how she needs to cover all of her ass and bases, and what she has to say, she comes up with this story that is different than everything else that she had said. Oh, and by the way, she'd also been saying that there were only text messages between herself and Chris Watts on Monday during the day. That is the day of the murders until the evening. That's when they first talked on the phone. And those text messages were, just bullshit conversation, nothing consequential, certainly nothing that investigators would want to know related to the murders of Chris Watts' family members or where their bodies were so disgracefully left. Yet now we learn that not only was she asking Chris Watts why he was going straight out to Survey 319 instead of the office, and she wanted to know who sent him out there. She wanted proof that he went straight out to Survey 319 instead of the office that morning. She wanted to know who sent him, where he was, and she wanted picture proof in that moment of where he was right then. She demanded it, upon which apparently he sent her the proof that was not satisfactory, but that is when she discloses, I'm sure by mistake, that it was when she was on the phone with him during the day, Monday morning, the morning of the murder. She was on the phone with him when those messages came through, and she says it not once, not twice, but thrice. So now we know that she apparently was concerned about things well before Tuesday morning when she found out that Shanann Watts was in fact pregnant, which really breaks down her entire argument that that's why she deleted her text messages with Chris. Proves herself a liar there. We know that she was talking to Chris Watts during the day, on the day of the murders. That's a huge lie. And asking for proof of why he was at Survey 319 instead of the office. Survey 319 is a place that she knows well by now that Chris Watts and possibly whoever else so disgracefully disposed of those precious bodies, of those precious souls. And she just, kept it all tucked in tight to herself until her fourth interview, which she drops these absolute bombshells and there's no repercussion. What the actual fuck? Seriously. Oh, God. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of that? And Muck Boys, I'm just going to ignore all of your, all of your crazy talk there because I want to maintain my relationship with you. Oh, the truth will always come out in the end. I hope it does in this case. And I hope it comes out for all of the world to know because it's so important that our justice system works every time. And it's so important for these victims that they receive full justice. I mean, I just feel that the things are not settled in this universe. Things are not in balance until they receive the complete justice that they so well deserve. And that we are really responsible for carrying out for them now. Oh my. Yes, exactly, Crystal. I didn't even read that yet, but exactly what you said. Where is that? I'm going to pin that one. Where'd it go? Yes. No, we cannot stop until they have complete justice. Absolutely. Yes. Amen to that. Mhm. You want to ignore myself. Sorry if you guys can't hear my son in the background. He's like a gamer and he's gaming and I just can't contain him right now. Okay. So much more to think about. So much more to think about. All right, guys. Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions or anything like that, I'm going to wrap things. Oh, I know. I just didn't want to play this one part where she. Okay, here.
That they had told him to go to the field right away.
Got to bring back to the stream. Sorry. Present.
That freaked me out. Like the sheets did, like was kind of weird at the time. The fact that I thought he had just lied to me about their separation, but it was like the wedding ring comment. Like he was so callous. Like he was just ready to like cash it in and get some money. You were telling me. And I was just like, him to prove what? To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away. Okay, so, and he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. And did he do that? And yes, he did. Okay, all right. And he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was two pictures of a release followed intermittently. Like there was text like on either side of the picture. And it looked, I didn't get everything. He just sent me like part of their conversation and I didn't have dates and times on either. Like you couldn't see the dates and times of what he was sending me. So he could have been sending me something that was like not recent. It could have been something from like weeks ago and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me and he sent it quick. Like it just like instantaneously when I asked him for it, like I was still on the phone with him and right. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone and it made sense of what he'd been saying, but okay. The only thing in there, yeah, like it almost looked like someone else was originally going to go to that site and it looked like the conversation someone I interpreted it, the conversation that had with his foreman and with Troy or whoever was in that conversation, it looked like the conversation had occurred probably at some point over the weekend. And then it looked like Troy, I think, or somebody else in the field was originally going to go out there first thing on Monday, and he told them not to worry about it and that he would do it. Okay. And I don't know the exact words. Like I don't have the whole conversation. Again, it's something that you need to go to Anadarko for that. Yep. Okay. What's next? And yes, well, then that was, and that conversation, that's the end of that. And then, okay. What else? What else? What else? Oh, okay. And then that same night, remember I told you we had that one big phone conversation that you and me just discussed. Then we FaceTime for like 2 minutes, right? And then we had another big phone conversation. Yep. So when we FaceTimed, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant, but like you say, just say it anyways. He was wearing a black wife beater. I think it was black, and I told you guys that he was laying on a mat through that. So yeah. Okay, so I guess that wraps it up for today, my friends. Thank you so super much for being here. I appreciate all of you, and thank you for the super chats, for the memberships, for the gifted memberships. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. There is going to be definitely a members live stream this Thursday evening, probably around 8 o'clock. There will be another live stream Friday evening for sure, and possibly another one throughout the week. I am almost done with my Hiding in Plain Sight Part 2 video for the University of Idaho Idaho versus Brian Koberger case. Everyone, please check that out. Like it, share it when it does come out. When I don't cover a case for a little while, sometimes I spend a lot of time doing a video, and if you aren't covering case regularly, not a ton of people always pick it up. So hey, I'd appreciate if you could like and share it. Please like and share this live stream. I hope you guys all enjoyed your chat. Thank you so much for being awesome and respectful as always in the chat. Moderators, you totally rock. Love you guys. Thank you so much to everybody who contributed today. Muck Boys, I'm going to find it in my heart to forgive you, I guess. No, it's all good, Muck Boys. We love you. But really, yeah, I think someone offered you a therapist. It's okay. You can take them up on that. We will crowdfund for you for therapy fees. Yes, we will. All right, guys, everyone, please lock your windows, lock your doors. And remember, life is really hard. So please be good to each other. And most of all, be good to yourself, because I know you deserve it.
Yes, just call me back when you have a chance. Bye. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye.
I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, the reason I ask him this is because if I get into a relationship with somebody, I want to know, like, what kind of baggage that they have. I think that's important. If I walk into a situation where I'm like, hey, I have good credit, and I have all of these things, and I have all these things, and I have all these things, and I have all these things that I can't tell you, like, the exact words of the exact conversation at the exact time and place, because it's like we had a lot conversations. I mean, we talked every single day. So it's
So if there's
like,
a-
I'm trying to help you guys with the stuff, like the stuff that's more current. I can give you guys a lot more like detail and exact times. But when you're asking me about something that happened 6 weeks ago and exactly what was said, it's like, I mean, I'm sure I can give you a general idea, but to be honest with you, like to pinpoint exact words, it's not going to happen.
I'm not